Hey, friends, time for our day 7 debrief. We kind of moved from the end of chapter 4 into chapter 5 in this reading. And so Johnny and Pony are carrying out Dali's escape plan, right? They got on the train and they found the church. There's some really interesting elements in here. Mostly, we're just kind of seeing the relationship between Johnny and Ponyboy. It's just them. They have time to talk, and we get to observe that. But there's a lot of stuff kind of under the surface and sort of in the background, I guess, that we need to take note of. The biggest thing that jumps out at me is the dream element. Um, First of all, remember back when he was at home, he dreamed of being out in the country where everything would be nice and perfect and there would be no problems and no factions. And he actually thought in an ironic sort of way, oh, I'm in the country. My dream came true. But it's not quite what he dreamed about, is it? It's not really all that happy. It's not like they can go out and meet people and not be greasers and not have to deal with socias. It's just it's not what he dreamed of. But in a way, his dream of getting to the country came true. That's some deep irony there. And then in another sort of ironic twist, as chapter 5 is getting going, he's dreaming of being at home. So he got what he thought he wanted. He got away and he's out in the country. And now look what's happening. He's dreaming of being home. That's an interesting switch there, isn't it? It speaks to the whole, the grass isn't always greener on the other side idea. But I just really think, the two different dreams, and the way that they show up depending on where he is and what's going on. I think that's important to us. He has that little memory. It's just kind of stuck in there because they're in a church. But not Johnny, sorry, Ponyboy remembers he and Johnny go into church for a while and they liked it, and nobody seemed to mind, and they were learning perhaps and interested in the sermons, that's pretty good for teenagers. It's hard for young people to kind of get into what's going on at church, but then they invite the other guys, and it's so embarrassing because the other guys are goofing around and playing and maybe being a little disrespectful. It's hard to say, but definitely loud and distracting. And so then Pony and Johnny never go back. But part of me wonders if he shared that with us, if that was there to kind of help us see that Ponyboy wasn't like the other guys. Maybe Johnny isn't either, but of course Pony's our focus. um, he's not where they are. He hangs out with them. They're his family. He keeps his mouth shut good around the cops. He's part of the team, but he doesn't think like them. He doesn't have the same interests. We saw that when he wonders what are the girls like who aren't our kind. What would it be like to be a different person? Why am I stuck here? And his resistance to that role that society had given him. He didn't get to choose who he was going to be or where he was born or who his family was, who his neighbors were. But he was interested in something, deep and thoughtful and meaningful to him. And the other boys just thought it was, a place to goof around. I think that's important too. It just speaks to who Ponyboy is and the depth of his person. I'm not knocking any of the other guys. They're all products of their environment, but clearly Ponyboy wants more, and kind of is a bit of a dreamer in their mind because he wants something, fuller to his life. Um, but as they're moving along, Johnny is still taking charge, which still feels weird because he just seemed so scared and so in the background and in the shadows of others. And he gets up and he goes to the store and he makes the plan and comes back. He thought to pick up Gone with the Wind for Ponyboy. One, he knows his buddy loves to read, and he thinks maybe Ponyboy will read it to him to pass the time. But you think that title might be meaningful or symbolic, even without knowing the story. Gone with the Wind. What is gone? What has been blown away in their lives? Think on that. The actual story, it's a very famous novel made into a really famous movie. Like it was the Avatar of its time. I mean, just huge, huge, huge impact made all kinds of money. Everybody knew about it. And it was about the Civil War and kind of the dreams that were kind of gone with the wind as that ended badly for the South. So I just feel like there's got to be something there. But we ended with Johnny announcing they were going to have to cut their hair. And of course, Ponyboy's panicking. That's part of his identity. You might be very attached to your hair. Hair is a big deal. It's a part of our look. It's a part of our identity, our sense of self. And of course, Johnny's right. We have to make sure we don't fit the descriptions when they start looking for two greaser hoods, right? And so Ponyboy can't argue with him, but it's a bit of a crisis for him. So we'll see how all that turns out. It's not going to be fun. He already knows it, but he knows it's the right thing. So they're trying to take care of each other, trying to do their best to stay out of trouble. And we'll see how it all goes down. I'll see you soon.